Greetings my friends from the Vale and welcome to my Game of Thrones Season 6, Episode 7, The Broken Man TV review. Of course, as always, spoilers. Let's get right into this because tonight we got two characters back and we got a scene that made us hate fuel towards one specific character even more. So we start off at the Vale where we see several men building this wooden structure out of tree trunks and wooden beams, and then we see Ian McShane telling these men to build the structure faster, inciting them to work, helping them out, giving them the tools they need, and then we see several men carrying the wooden beams. Until the moment we actually see one man alone carrying a beam by himself until he gets tired and puts the beam down. And who is this man but Sandor Clegane? Thought it was really interesting that we got this scene before the credits for the show. Didn't really help it or hurt it, just thought it was interesting. Let's go into King's Landing and break down each scene in each location until we get to the end where we go back to the Vale. We start in King's Landing with Queen Marjorie reading a passage from the Book of the Mother and the High Sparrow citing it. Then they have this deep conversation about how Marjorie before just was disgusted by looking at the poor people and she only felt pity for them but she did not like them. Well, the High Sparrow tells her something really interesting. When we look at poor people, we see ourselves and what we would look like without our riches and without our possessions and the things we have that make us comfortable living our lives. And let me tell you right now, the chemistry between these two actors and the scenes they've gotten so far during the season are great. They work really well together. I really like seeing Jonathan Pryce and Natalie Dormer working together, having these scenes that are actually always filled with tension. And I personally always feel that both of them are always hiding something. As much as they are talking to each other, they are always omitting some truth behind their words, which always makes their conversations really interesting for me. I don't know how you guys feel about that. Let me know please in the comments below. And then the High Sparrow asks her if he can talk to her about something personal. And he talks about Marjorie giving Tom an heir. And she doesn't feel like it. She doesn't want to go to bed with him. She doesn't want to go lay with her husband. But the High Sparrow tells her it is necessary if they are to carry out their mission with a faith. Then we see Marjorie going to her grandmother, Olenna Tyrell, and we see Septa Unella. And in this episode we see several scenes with several women with a lot of sass. And Olenna Tyrell is not one that leaves sass at the table. She steps on it. She sent Septa Unella out, but she doesn't go. She threatens to bring her men in and break down Septa Unella, and Septa Unella just stands there and smiles. And I'm like, bitch, nobody likes you unless you're ringing a bell and repeatedly saying shame, shame, shame. So Septa Unella doesn't leave, but who leaves? Olenna Tyrell. But not before Marjorie gives her a little paper without Unella seeing it, and when Olenna steps out of the room they were in, she opens up the paper and she sees the rose of the Tyrells. I'm really looking forward to see what Marjorie's plan is, and at this point in time I'm predicting the Tyrells to overtake the High Sparrow and take over King's Landing, or at least we are going to be left in some kind of cliffhanger that will have Marjorie or maybe Loras killing the High Sparrow, and that's how we will end the season, not knowing how we will start season 7 as far as King's Landing is concerned. So now you have Cersei and Olenna talking about how they have lost control over King's Landing. Neither of them are safe. Olenna is going to leave and she's telling Cersei to leave too, but Cersei tells her, no, I am not going to leave my son. I do not accept losing the city that belongs to me. I am not leaving. If you want to leave, I will stay and take over this faith militant. And I really enjoy when these two actresses have their confrontations in the episodes they do, because both of these actresses are great, both of the characters are great. I really want to see who ends up killing who, really, between Olenna and Cersei. That's the most intriguing question when it comes to these two characters and their confrontations. Let's go to Riverrun, where you have Jaime and the men from the Lannisters coming up to the castle at Riverrun, where the Freys have a siege around the castle where Blackfish Tully is, and they have Edmure. But guess who's back with Jaime, if not Bronn, the man with the sass, along with the women from this episode, telling Jaime he doesn't deserve this, he's not getting paid, and Jaime tells him, you get paid more than any of the men from the Lannister. And Bronn just replies, that's like saying I have more of a cock than any Unsullied. Bronn has always been one of the funniest characters on this show, and he still is. I'm glad I can say that. Jaime comes up at the Freys, and and he steps on them, and now he's taking control over the siege around Riverrun. He goes and confronts Blackfish Tully, tells him to surrender the castle. Blackfish Tully confronts Jaime about the promise he made to Catelyn Stark, and at the end, he doesn't surrender the castle. Why? Because he doesn't care. He's going to take this thing to the end. He has provisions for 2 years. He asks Jaime if he has patience for 2 years, and now that tensions are rising, Jaime and the Lannisters versus Blackfish Tully and the men in his arsenal. We have this little discussion between Jaime and Bronn about Jaime having possibly to face Blackfish Tully. Honestly, Bronn has his money on the old boy, as he says. Personally, I have too, but I'm sure Jaime will turn it around. Maybe they won't even fight. I don't know. But I would really enjoy seeing these two men fighting, confronting each other, two of the greatest warriors and knights in the history of Westeros. I would really like to see that. Let's go to the north, where we see Jon Snow having a conversation with the wildlings along with Tormund Giantsbane, and the wildlings are doubting if they should join Jon Snow, and if they should, why should they join this man in fighting for the south, for his home? They have nothing to do with it. And Tormund goes to them, this guy died for us. We don't fight with him, we are not willing to die for him, we are nothing but cowards, and my people are not cowards. We wildlings are not cowards, we never were, and we're not going to start now. And we have this giant sitting on a rock next to them, and the giant just gets up and says, Snow, and walks out, and then one of the wildlings goes to Jon Snow and shakes his hand, and now the wildlings are ready to fight for Jon Snow. We have Jon, Sansa, and Davos going to Bear Island, where they meet the niece of Jeor Mormont, and this girl was full of sass as well. And the actress herself was great. I really enjoyed her in the scene. Game of Thrones is good at getting child actors, except for Tommen. And Jon Snow is trying to convince the lady to join his party to take over Winterfell, get his home back. She confronts him about being a Snow and about Sansa being now a Bolton. And we have this recurring theme of people thinking and believing that House Stark is dead. But then in comes Davos and he tells her that we should not be having these squabbles about minor or major houses. We should be uniting because the true war is with the living and the dead, and the dead are coming. The little girl is finally convinced, but she only has 62 men. Jon Snow doesn't believe this. He has no trust in the strength that 62 men would bring to his army, but the girl tells him, these guys will fight with their lives. I assure you of that. Davos gently replies, if they are as brave as you are sassy. He doesn't exactly say like that. I'm paraphrasing. We will be fine. They go to a minor house that is House Glover, and this man refuses to join them because he refused to serve House Stark anymore. The Starks are dead for him as well. His brother fought alongside Robb and he died, and then the men from the Iron Islands came in and they butchered his wife and children. He now refuses. He has no reason to fight and no will. So now House Glover is out and he won't fight with Jon Snow. Going back to camp, Jon Snow and Sansa have this little discussion about how Jon believes they should march to Winterfell as soon as possible with the men they already have, and Sansa still believes they should recruit more men for their army because they are not enough. Jon Snow tells her, we are going to march, and that's that. And we see Sansa going to her tent and writing a letter to an unknown party. We don't see what's written on the letter, and we don't see. Sansa seals the letter, she starts wrapping it up. We go into Volantis, where Yara and Theon are at a slaver's base surrounded by whores. Yara is apparently a lesbian, and Theon is just trapped inside himself. The guy is afraid of everything, it seems. He doesn't want to drink, he doesn't want to look at the horse. I wouldn't want to look at the horse in this situation. And Yara tells him, you got to do this with me. I can't do it alone. You are my brother, you are a Greyjoy. We are going to Meereen and find the support of this Dragon Queen, and we are going to take the Iron Islands back from our uncle Euron. Theon finally agrees. He drinks a little bit, starts getting his mojo back, and then Yara goes into fucking whore. Okay, let's go to Bravos, because we see Arya again, another girl full of sass. We see her hearing a conversation between two men. One of them is saying that the Ironborn are in Volantis at Slaver's Bay, and she throws him a sack of coins and tells him she wants passage to Westeros. The man tells her they are leaving in 2 days, she better be ready or they will leave without her, and she throws him another sack of coins and she tells him, I want a cabin. And we leave at dawn. She takes both the sacks back, the man just stares at her, and then Arya goes into looking at the statue that she first saw when she came to Bravos. We have this little old lady approaching her, and as soon as I saw this lady I was like, nah, I don't trust you. And she tells, sweet girl. And Arya turns around, smiles at her, and she stabs Arya repeatedly. She turns the knife as it is inside her body, and we see that it is that bitch, the waif. Oh my fucking god. Arya pushes her away and she jumps into the river, and the bitch just smiles. Then we see Arya full of blood. The blood is spilling out of her guts, and she's just walking down the street trying to find a safe haven, I guess. Next episode, you better start with a scene showing me that Arya is safe. Because right now, George Martin, Benioff, and Weiss, you are not helping me with killing off the few characters that are keeping me watching this show. You better not kill Arya. What I'm guessing from this scene is that last week, the waif promised Jack and Hagar that she would not make Arya suffer. Not only is she making Arya suffer, she did not finish the job. I'm predicting that Jack and Hagar will kill the waif himself. But this does not mean that he will help Arya, actually. I'm guessing he will kill the waif himself, and then he's going after Arya himself to kill her, but he will end up having mercy on the little girl. Okay, now we go back into the Vale, and we see Ian McShane telling a story how he has been a bad man throughout his life. He has butchered people, he has murdered people, he has burned houses down, he has robbed, and he has just not been a good man, but now he finds peace being here, isolated with these people who also have nothing in their lives. And then we see three men who clearly are from the Brotherhood Without Banners. Sandor Clegane immediately suspects them. They ask for food, they ask if they have any weapons, and they wish the people there well. They say the night is dark and full of terrors, and they walk away. Then we see a little bit of confrontation between Sandor Clegane and the guy played by Ian McShane, who we don't know the name of. And Sandor Clegane doesn't trust those men. He wants to fight them, he wants to kill them. He tells Ian McShane he can fight alongside him, and Ian McShane just tells him, nah, I don't fight anymore. And he walks away. After a little bit, we see Sandor Clegane alone in the middle of the woods, and he hears a lot of screaming, a lot of shouting. He runs with axe in hand, and he sees everyone was butchered. Arrows in their backs, blood on the ground, and he goes into that wooden structure that we saw in the beginning of the episode, and there is Ian McShane hung from his neck. That's Ian McShane! We never even got to know the name of the character, and you killed him. Any actor could have played that role. Now I understand why he didn't care about spoiling people, because there was nothing to spoil. I thought it was a waste of an actor, it was a waste of a role. And now we see Sandor Clegane picking up his axe and going after the Brotherhood Without Banners like a serial killer from an 80s slasher movie. This is definitely the lowest of the episodes in season 6 so far. Not a bad episode at all. Far from that, it actually gives us many clues going forward in the season. I liked the episode. It was fine, it was kind of set up, and it was concluding some chapters that were kind of hanging in there. But we've now gone 2 weeks without Marine, and I want to get back there as fast as I can. I'm predicting that the High Sparrow will die by the end of the season, or he will die on episode 9, and by the end of the season the Tyrells will have overtaken King's Landing. I really want to see Sandor Clegane killing those men, and I want to see if my predictions are correct as far as Jack and Hagar, the waif, and Arya go. You better show me Arya is safe at the beginning of the next episode. But what did you guys think of this week's episode of Game of Thrones, The Broken Man? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Do you agree with me that it's the lowest episode of Game of Thrones, but not a bad one at all? What are you looking forward to seeing next week's episode? As always, guys, there's links to my Facebook and my Instagram in the description below. You can stalk me on the internet, share this video with your friends, and give it a like, and subscribe if you haven't. We are 13 subs away from 150, hashtag road to 150, and hashtag Legend of Tarzan Q&A. My Q&A is ongoing. You can start leaving me your questions for the July Q&A coming next month. And get updated whenever I upload a video. As always, I'll leave a link to my previous video right here. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this review of episode 7 of Game of Thrones. Right here is a link to my Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Q&A where I announce the winner and officially the next Q&A. Don't forget to hashtag the road to 150. Can't wait to bring you a new review for Game of Thrones next week, and tomorrow night I will be watching Warcraft, the movie, and of course bring you a review for that. And of course I will see you in every Q&A, every geeky video, every haul, and every review I make. Cheers!